Good evening. The date is July 14, 1945. Germany has surrendered and war in Europe has come to an end. Hitler's Nazis have been vanquished and American soldiers are returning home. Families and friends everywhere from California, Iowa to New York are welcoming back their men and women after 3 long years of furious war. In a cottage on the quiet shores of Wallen Lake, Michigan, await Mariam, the young wife of First Lieutenant Morgan Jampolonsky, who was listed missing in action after the invasion of Normandy on June 6, 1944. This is her story and revelation that soon comes to her door. Mariam's Pardon by Wayne Erreca. It's July 14, 1945, and the war with Germany is over. Japan continues fighting in the South Pacific. The beginning of summer hangs warm and heavy over Horton Bay, a small, pleasant township in northern Michigan, nestled between Charlevoix and Boyne City. Among the pine trees along the waterfront of Walloon Lake rests the small cottage of Harriet Jampolonsky. Its quaint wooden structure has been in the family for 2 generations, dating back to 1883 when her father, William McKinley, arrived from Ireland. The cottage interior has a small kitchen, a quaint dining room with table and chairs. The lights slowly rise as Mariam Jampolonsky sits at the dining room table stitching a dress. She is slim, conservatively attired in a flower print dress, and is far more attractive than first impressions allow. She is Harriet's 29-year-old daughter-in-law, married to her only son. First Lieutenant Morgan Jampolonsky serving in Europe and listed as missing in action. Harriet pours flour in a bowl in the kitchen, wearing a long white apron over a modest dark-colored dress. She is vibrant for her 63 years and moves with a limp in her right leg. Morgan followed him everywhere. If Father was building a shed, he'd have a little Morgan handing him nails, and if he was fishing, he'd have him baiting the hook. The stories he told at breakfast had Morgan's eyes as big as hen eggs. Father regretted not having a son, but made up for it with my Morgan. Taught him all he needed to know. You should have seen my father when he was a young man. It's a shame what old age does. Oh, do you remember what he said when Morgan first brought you home? Now there's a dandy. Just like that, he says. Now there's a dandy. He clearly liked you. Do you remember that day? Mariam, have you heard a word I've said?
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
You really should see Dr. Mueller to see if you're going deaf.
I wasn't ignoring you, I was just drifting in my thoughts.
It's happening more often, and I'm concerned about it. I really am.
I like to talk, I really do.
Well, I'm not going to argue about it. When you be a dear and grab me a tray. Did you hear the news?
What news?
Oh, the war, Mariam. Our boys are bombing the Japanese homeland, islands, and we're one step closer to ending this horrible war. We should be getting news from Morgan, don't you think?
I'm not sure, but I hope so.
Where's your positive thinking, girl? Happy thoughts are good thoughts and always come up roses. Here, steer this for me. Harriet exits. She returns, unfolding a letter. This arrived a few days ago. We are hopefully optimistic in informing you that our efforts in locating your husband, Mr. Lieutenant Morgan P. Jablonski, will be vigorously carried out in the coming months due to Germany's surrender, allowing us greater movement to investigate his whereabouts. We will keep you posted on all information we acquire leading to his recovery. Thank you for your patience. From a grateful nation, sincerely, Captain Stuart Johnston. Isn't this terrific news, Mariam?
Was it addressed to me?
Yes. Is there a problem?
Why didn't you give it to me?
When I saw who it was from, I couldn't wait to open it. After all, it was addressed to Mrs. Jablonski. An innocent mistake, don't you think?
Yes, but I would have liked reading it firsthand.
I thought you'd be grateful, but all you can think about is being first.
I'm grateful, Harriet, but it was my letter.
What difference does it make? He belongs to both of us, doesn't he?
Yes, but he's my husband.
And my son. Don't forget I had him first. There's hot water on the stove. Would you mind pouring us a cup of tea? My damn leg is acting up again. It always puts me in a bad mood in the morning. I've seen Dr. Mueller about it, and all he can say is, "It's yours, Harriet." That's a rotten thing to say, don't you think? It's not very optimistic, if I say so. What's next? Will my ears drop off on my next birthday? Oh, you should be grateful you're young and fit. Whatever trouble you think you have, it really only begins when you turn 50. You're 25 now, aren't you?
No, I'm 29.
Really? Where does the time go? You still have a lot of spring and summer in you before the fall sets in. There are days I feel like I'm the dead of winter. My leg started acting after my 53rd birthday, and if I didn't need it, I'd saw it off. You just can't imagine the pain. It's unbearable at times. There we are. We'll just let it sit for a while. It's unusually hot this morning, don't you think?
Yes, it is.
What are you working on?
I'm adding trim to the necklace of Rosemary Benning's wedding dress. Mabel said it's too revealing.
Oh, Rosemary's much too young to have a budding problem. Last I saw her, she was flat as a washboard.
Apparently, she sprouted over the past year or so.
Oh, after I turned 16, I was cousin to the dairy cow. There was more to cover and plenty of gawkers. I think I'll have a little sugar to brighten my day. How about you?
No, thank you.
I can just see Morgan walking into the kitchen, wearing his old red robe my father gave him, with the morning paper tucked under his arm, asking, "Is the coffee ready, Mother?"
It seems like 1,000 years ago.
What a teary-eyed thing to say.
I just have trouble visualizing it, that's all.
Fiddlesticks! That's your biggest problem. You don't think enough happy thoughts. In case you haven't noticed, over the past several months you've become more withdrawn.
What do you mean? I don't feel any different.
Everyone's noticed.
Who?
I'm not naming any names, but everyone's seen a change.
Mabel's not said anything.
Of course she hasn't. She's your friend and doesn't want to hurt you.
How have I changed?
I'm not a psychiatrist, but honestly, when Morgan first brought you home, I took him aside and said, quiet ones will turn on you. Pick a girl who clearly speaks and does what's on her mind, and you'll know for certain where she's coming from.
That's a horrible thing to say. Why are you attacking me?
Oh, attacking you? There you go again, jumping to conclusions. I'm just sharing good sense. Why are you always on the defensive?
I may be quiet, but I do speak my mind.
Yes, and usually for all the wrong reasons.
I don't have to listen to this.
Come on, sit down. Don't let me ruffle your feathers. You know how I am. My husband said I should have been born wearing a bridle. Don't let your tea go cold on account of me. I don't know what gets into me. I really don't. It must be the weather. Ever since I was a girl, I hated summers. They're always wet and sticky, making it difficult to breathe. My only fond memories of them were when my father told us stories of Ireland. We'd sit on the porch, late into the hot summer evenings, hoping for a cool breeze. Did you know he built the cottage the year I was born?
Yes, Morgan told me.
What a storyteller he was. He'd talk about the rolling green hills of Ireland, and how the cool mist wet your face while walking the countryside.
If he loved it so much, why did he leave?
Morgan never shared that with you? Well, in 1880, when he was a soldier, my father fought in the Zulu War in Africa. Once he returned to Ireland, he learned his wife had died of pneumonia, and a month before his arrival, he cut his ties right then and there and boarded the first ship to America. He said it was too painful to stay, and only a stiff wind against his face would bring a cure.
How sad. Had they been married long?
Just short of a year. Father hardly mentioned her. Kept her tucked away somewhere in his heart. Did Morgan ever tell you how my father and mother met?
No.
Well, he stopped at the Horton Bay store, where my mother worked behind the counter, and it was love at first sight. Father meant to travel further north that day, but as fate had it, Mother grabbed a piece of his heart. And that's how I eventually sprung into the world. Since we're talking about the cottage, our roof needs a good fixing, and I don't want us going through another winter like last. Pots and pans are for cooking, not for catching water drops. I want it looking nice when Morgan returns. He deserves that much after what he's going through, don't you think?
Yes.